And seeing Bond in like his full naval outfit with the naval hat and cap and stuff, doing stuff, I think it'd be. We see it a few times in the series, but not enough.
Welcome back to the Men's Adventure Fiction Podcast. We are here with a fun episode. This one is for sure a copycat episode. We saw this from Analyze This, Mr. Bond, and I think they had like a bracket type thing that Terrence Lehue did as well. But this is Build Your Own Bond Adventure. So we're jumping in because we've talked about it before. We enjoy Bond, not as much as we wish we did. But maybe after this, our Bond wish lists, maybe we'll really enjoy it. We broke it down, I think they broke it down into, I'll read off the list. Actor, director, villain. I don't know if they did henchman, so I added that one in. If they didn't, like I said, I haven't watched the video. Singer, like for the theme, the plot, locations, and then Bond girl. So I'm actually pretty excited about this one. It'll be fun to riff off of. How you feeling about it?
Good. I think the only downside is it was so much fun and kind of like lets your mind daydream about what your favorite Bond could be, and then it's like, oh man, we're definitely not going to get this, and that sucks.
Yeah.
Which is the bummer of it. But I am excited to see what they do end up doing.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be cool, and it won't be from me. It'll be cool to just like sit back and just be like, oh yeah, this is sick.
Yeah.
Maybe it's better than what I even pictured or imagined. And I think what's cool about this concept and why I would love to hear everybody else's answers, I like that it was floating around the internet, is that it's cool to think of Bond in that open-minded manner, where it's like, you got Roger Moore films, and they're so different than the Dalton films, and they're so different than the Craig films, and they're so different than the Brosnan films and the Sean Connery. Like, I like that we obviously have this central idea of Bond, but there's so many different flavors and types, and even in the Roger Moore era that me and my friend have been working through, it's like some of them are outlandishly goofy, and you're like, what are we doing? And some are super sick and serious. Like, it's cool to just see the different flavors of Bond, and so it'll be interesting to see even how you and I's Bond is going to differ, and what kind of new things each of us is going to bring to the Bond flavor. Because, like you said, there is missing pieces, I think, from Bond in general that you and I both wish were there. So we'll probably add those in our thing.
Yeah. So I agree, and this is what's tough too, is like thinking about who to cast as Bond. I, for a little while, put the idea of like has to be under 30 as one of the things, and I just couldn't think of anybody, so I got rid of that. I threw it out because that's the thing with these. You can, I don't know how you did it, but you could pick any time, any person from history.
Yeah, you could have reused Pierce Brosnan if you wanted to. That's an idea the internet loves, right? It's bringing him back.
Yeah, that is a good point. But since if we pick stuff that the other guy has, he has to figure something out off the cuff. Let's do. You pick a number. Let me think right now, and I'm going to pick a number between 1 and 2. So 1 or 2, and you pick it. If it's the one that I say, here, close your eyes, and I'll just hold up the number. That way, they know I'm not lying. All right, go ahead, guess.
2.
You can open your eyes and.
Oh man, I lost Bond.
Yeah, dude, that's a bummer. Oh man, dude, this is actually more tough. Can I pick to defer and let you go first?
You go first which one? Are we starting with like Bond girl and working our way up, or going Bond and down?
Ooh, that's a good question. What do you want to do?
Well, maybe we should start with Bond because, and then we can go down the list because we got to build.
You got to build the world around the actor.
Yeah, I think it only makes sense going down that way. So for me, you already know my choice because I'm pretty adamant about this. It's got to be Callum Turner. I actually posted about it on my Instagram. Dude, I saw Callum Turner in Eternity, and I've seen him in Masters of the Air. And I am convinced that he's like the perfect Bond, the perfect guy for Bond. And nothing will sway my opinion.
Now, is this Callum Turner with mustache or without?
He probably can't have a mustache.
Just because he's Bond?
Well, because in my plot, I guess we're jumping ahead a little bit, but like, this is military Sorry.
You're good.
He's younger
Okay, cool.
in service Bond.
Right.
Like in Navy service.
That's interesting, dude. That's super sick. Yeah, I think Callum would be fine. I just don't think that he's not suave enough, in my opinion. He just seems kind of
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. He seems more brute-ish, maybe. He just doesn't.
Isn't Bond the blunt instrument, bro?
Yeah, but he's the suave, blunt instrument. And I don't think we talked about this 100 times before. I don't think Callum Turner is handsome enough to be Bond either.
That's not true. That's simply just not true.
I think I'm in the minority there, thinking that.
Very handsome, and I think we don't want to. There has been, like we said, a multitude of Bonds, and most are very handsome, but like he really doesn't need to be that freaking handsome. He just like Jacob Elordi is too tall. He doesn't need.
Callum Turner is not handsome.
I'm saying even if he weren't too handsome.
Yeah, I gotcha.
It's like Jacob Elordi being too tall. We don't want our Bond, like our spy or super spy, to be the most handsome dude ever. So they're like, it's the guy who's literally a model over there.
That's that super handsome guy. Go kill him. Start killing the handsome guys, and we'll probably get him. Yeah, that's a good one. A good point. I still don't agree about Callum Turner, and we've debated back and forth, you and I, personally, about this because he was the front runner for a while. I think he's too old. I really do think that they're trying to go for a 25-year-old, or like 25 to 30, which I don't know how they're going to do that because
they're not going to do that.
What's funny, dude, is literally last night as I was thinking about this, and I was going through kind of the plot in my mind of what I was thinking, and I was like, this is just the way that I had the plot set up was like they have to cast Tom Holland, and it is just going to end up being a better Uncharted movie.
That's hilarious.
Like, all right, I gotta reframe things here. This is not the Bond I'm looking for. But I do. That's the biggest thing that we talk about it all the time on the podcast, off the podcast. It's just such a bummer that they never let Tom Holland play an adult. You know, he's always
it's gotta be a kid,
the little guy. It's so annoying. And that's what the problem is. By the time he's old enough to play an adult, he would be too old for this role, you know, because they were like,
but are you not assuming that it's like under 30 on screen? Because like, look at Saved by the Bell, you got freaking like 30-year-olds playing 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
I
don't think so though, because when Daniel Craig hopped on as Bond, I think he was like Callum Turner's age. Okay. And he was like 50 something when it ended, right? So I think they're actually trying to get someone very young so that they can spend like the next 25, 30 years with him. But I don't know. I'm not in the mind of the director. But
you're going to have to get like one of the dudes from... Do you know who they can get? Yeah, but you know who they can get? There was a movie that came out called... I don't remember, so I'm going to pivot to something else he was in. I can't remember what the movie was called. I haven't seen. Oh, Splitsville. It's called Splitsville. This is a less embarrassing example because I didn't want to bring up the other one.
Good.
Dodge that. This guy from Splitsville, he plays like the younger guy. If you watch the trailer, he's like the younger guy who's fully nude and he's got like a guitar covering his ween. Dude is jacked out of his mind.
What was the other one?
The other one is this girly show that my wife watches, and it's definitely made for like 14-year-olds, dude. It was like Julie and the Phantoms, like this boy band dies in the 90s, and then she's like in now, and she's like in this boy band with ghosts or whatever, but he's like the love interest, and it's like real weird because the lady they picked looks her age. He doesn't, but he's like, that's my point, is he's really young, but he's freaking jacked, and it's like, you shouldn't be dating that lady. That's weird. This show's weird. Turn the show off. That's how I feel about that show. But either way, that actor is very, very young. There's no way he's 30, right? If not, I'm going to feel like an idiot. But I feel like he's young, and he's super jacked. Don't know if he's British, but he might be.
Yeah, dude, that's the other thing that's super interesting, is there's never been a non-British Bond, right?
There's probably been like Scottish Bonds because our man
Connery.
Connery.
Connery,
dude. I don't know if there's been any other
Dude, they could just do the hero, whatever his name is, Fiennes, the guy who's playing young Sherlock Holmes. Also get him
guy is sick
to play young Bond. Dude, I wonder, is he related to Ralph? Let me look that up real quick.
Yeah, look that up. That's a great point. Because I think there's another Fiennes who's like a brother
Yeah,
who
that's
was
how
in that
you say
movie
it.
Risen. That guy's sick. And then
Um,
it's your turn, I think, to tell me which actor that I can tell
it
you is
sure
not
is.
Callum Turner and is not correct.
Um, it would appear as though he is not
Ah,
related.
well, tell him to pretend he is. I'll help him get more jobs.
It definitely would help him. I actually can't tell because that's his mother's maiden name. So he's a Hero Fiends Tiffin. He is the nephew, and
There you go, dude.
he actually played young Voldemort or something like that, which might be a spoiler because I haven't seen those movies, and his name was
No, I haven't
something
seen
else.
him either.
But I digress. Uh, he'd be pretty
Dude,
sick
young
though.
Voldemort, young Sherlock, and young Bond.
He's the
Let's
man,
go.
dude. And he was in Ungentlemanly Warfare, so he could be the guy. But for me, dude, this one's tough. The reason I wanted you to go is because I was hoping you would take one of them, but you didn't. But I think you just got to go with pre-Superman Henry Cavill. Like, um, have you seen him in
Immortals?
Immortals? Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That
Jacked.
that Bond. That's Bond. He would have been so sick. I think now he is a little too big and just like
Yeah.
he's just
Just
like
like
huge.
massive.
He's not. He did a good job. I mean, I think he was around that size in Man from Uncle. And Man from Uncle is one of my favorite spy movies ever, and he did a good job. But I just can't imagine him like doing the things a spy would need to do otherwise, being that big. You know,
I know.
he can't even like fit through a small doorway. Like it
That's what
sneak through.
that's what I'm picturing. Like I know he can do pull-ups, but it feels odd to like try to imagine him
Yeah,
like heaving himself up over the lip of something and crawling around. It's like you just seem absurdly big. You shouldn't be doing that.
right, right. Like there's no chance he's making it through the scene in Die Hard where you got to crawl through the vents, the vent
Yeah,
shaft.
yeah.
He'd just be breaking. Like, they'd be
Just through the ground.
so it'd have to be younger Cavill, and
Yeah.
it is literally a robbery that he auditioned for Bond when
Dang.
Daniel Craig did, and he was a front runner, but they picked Daniel Craig because he was older, and Cavill was
And
too young.
now they want to make sure they're doing
I know,
younger.
dude.
What's going on?
We were robbed. It's so super depressing there. He's great.
Great
Love that
choice.
actor. I wish that he'd been in more stuff. His career has seemed like he's been the front man and the build man for so many things, and then he's only kind of like a third of the percentage actually there. So he's been massively underutilized, but some super cool stuff he has coming up. Like what is it? Outlander,
Highlander.
Highlander.
Highlander. That would be sick.
Yeah,
And he's got that Guy Ritchie in the Gray or whatever, or something like
which
that.
comes out this year, dude, which is
Yeah.
super exciting. So, yeah, very, very. I wish it could have been. The reason I was having a tough time picking is because my second option is also fantastic. Would have been Theo James. I think he would have been.
Yeah, he's great too.
He would have done really good. And I wish they would do him now. But once again, both of these guys, because he is not too big, but he is.
He's
super
definitely
jacked.
too old now.
Yeah, it's definitely too old. He's probably going to be 50 in the next couple of years.
But he's also probably, in my opinion, a better Bond villain, dude. That guy just has like a.
Oh yeah, too
I feel like
calculating.
he could. I feel like he could play a great bad guy. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess
that's a good idea.
I saw him in. I cannot ever stop seeing him from White Lotus season 2, and he was such like a douche, you know. And so I'm
Really?
like, I just picture him as the ultimate primo douche. Even though you watch The Gentleman, he's not really a douche in that. He's
Yeah.
like almost kind of the opposite of that. But
Right, very
I saw him play it so well that I could just see him being like a freaking foil to Bond and being
yeah,
a
that would be
douche.
cool. And dude, having him against Cavill would be pretty cool too, because
Yeah, that would be sick.
they kind of look sort of similar. They're both like tall, dark, and handsome guys. So that would be intense, dude. That would be a good one.
Yeah, a little golden eye type situation.
Yeah, dude, spy and counter spy.
5U spy.
But speaking of which, I guess we're on to director next. But should we just jump
Yeah.
into the main villain first? Because it would be cool to have spy
Sure.
versus counter
Let's
spy.
get the
All right,
villain.
who you got? Who you thinking?
So for my villain, I'm going with Idris Elba, and he's going to be like the captain, or like a higher ranking guy over
Uh-huh.
Bond, who's going to be like doing some evil kind of villainy
Yeah,
and
dude.
Bond's gonna have to like take down his own ranks to stop this
Dude, this is
thing in the Navy.
sick.
So it'll be Idris Elba as like, all captained up with the
Yeah.
sea captain outfit and everything. So it'll be like a
Oh
high ranking
man,
naval officer.
that's
Idris,
cool,
that's why I pictured as the bad guy.
dude. That's a good one.
Thanks,
I,
man. What about
I
you?
really,
What?
I like. Maybe we should do the plot next because you're revealing bits and pieces of it, and I'm hooked, dude. I gotta know what's gonna happen. Super sick.
I don't have a fully fleshed out plot, unfortunately. I mean, like, I just have a general vague
Yeah.
concept. We
Well, it
keep building
sounds
it out
great.
as we're speaking, but
Hey, we may have to, dude. For Idris is great too because he was for a long time another front runner of Bond. So
right.
you're doing a nice job of sneaking in the
The
yeah,
extra
and
Bond, dude.
he's so good as a bad guy too. He was the bad guy in Hobbs and Shaw, right?
Yeah, he was. I forgot about that. He's
But
like
he
the
had like
super soldier guy.
yeah, some weird superpowers. But yeah, he's great. He's fantastic. Um, and he also has because to the point you made earlier about Theo James, like he has all of the stuff that Bond would need to have, but then he has just like a little more calculating, like brooding. He seems like he could just be that much
Yeah.
more like ready to to kill you instead of
And my favorite thing is the whole, like, I need a counter spy or a counter assassin. Like, I love when Bond, like in a Man with a Golden Gun, I like going up against, or Golden Eye, where he, is 005 or whatever it was. Like, I
yeah,
like other spies as
right,
well, or like other people with the same training as him being the bad guy. I think that's
right,
cool.
like less so the Blofeld kind of guy who's the
Yeah.
mastermind that he has to take down. Yeah, I agree. I was, dude. Once again, I'm telling you, I was thinking about this right before I went to bed, and so as I'm like fading off to sleep, I'm thinking of all these different ideas. And I originally, right now, sitting here written down are Liam Neeson or Colin Farrell.
Dude, Liam
But
Neeson would be cool.
big pivot because both of those guys I feel like don't have the counter spy thing. But as I was thinking about it more, I think I would go with Jake Gyllenhaal, which is funny because
Oh, shoot, dude. Yeah, he'd
I
be
think
great.
Henry Cavill and Jake Gyllenhaal are in Into the Gray, right?
Yeah, they are. The new guy
I'm
Rich, dude.
basically
Is it
just
a Bond
making
film?
it could be, dude. Are we? But so I don't want to get in too much. No spoilers for my plot, but I'll explain in a little bit why Jake would be the sickest.
And I think he's a fantastic choice because, I mean, that guy, I don't know if he's ever, well, he probably has ever, but I don't know if he all the time plays like a strict villain. But dude, the guy plays
Yeah.
crazy, like better than anybody. The guy is
Right.
fantastic at Unhinged.
Well,
You get
dude,
little moments of him going nuts, bro.
what's funny too is if we'd had him and Tom Holland, he was the bad guy in
Yeah,
one
Mysterio,
Spider-Man. I just keep accidentally making these connections. But yeah, dude, he's great. I mean, even just as if you just copycatted Detective Loki from Prisoners,
Bro, that's what I was thinking.
he would be fantastic.
Or
but I was-
Nightcrawler even, but just give him a little more muscle.
Yeah, dude,
With the freaky
Nightcrawler
eyes,
would
dude.
be a good one too. But I was thinking, I'm not even sure what movie to compare him to for this one, but I was imagining him with a real crisp beard and kind of like a high and tight haircut.
Source Code.
Yeah, maybe. But
He
he's
had like the freaking
a little
buzz cut almost.
less. I feel like source code. The whole thing is that he just can't figure it out, and he's running
And
around
over and over and over.
This one, he has it all figured out, and he's very much like locked in.
Yeah, I was going pure aesthetics.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah,
want that guy to be your bad guy. He'd be like, where's Bond? Who is he? What?
Wait.
Who is Bond?
And he keeps getting the chance to go after
He's
Bond
right
after
there.
he dies every time. Yeah, so that's my number one pick for the bad guy. All right, but who we got? Who you got for director? What are you thinking?
You go first for director this time because I have two in case we pick the same guy because I think we might pick the same guy.
I feel like I've got to pick Guy Ritchie now after
Exactly,
I built out
right.
In the Gray, but that was not at all on my radar. Who I was going to pick was Christopher McQuarrie, the guy who's directed
right.
the last 3 or 4
Makes a
Mission
lot of
Impossible
sense.
movies,
Makes
because
a lot of sense.
he's just so sick and he has the capability. He's like a smaller budget Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan's known so well for doing everything practical, going and getting the shot instead of making it in post. And that's what I would want from this, because I feel like Christopher Nolan does his stuff more for like, I don't know what the right word is, like spectacle, whereas I feel like McQuarrie does his for actually like really getting the action. You know, like Nolan doesn't necessarily do the big stuff for the action as much as it is just for like he blew up a plane in Tenet. He put a train on top of a tractor trailer and drove it through the city streets in Inception, you know, and he does all this stuff with the goal of impressing you, but not necessarily for the action side of things. It's kind of just to like blow your mind outside of it. So that's why my number one pick would be Macquarie, because I think he would
Great
just
choice because action-wise and stunts-wise, you know you'd be in good hands.
right.
It's almost like picking the dude from F1 if you're going to do any kind of fast vehicle thing. Like
exactly.
it's a good thing to pick him.
Yeah.
Because he did Top Gun and F1. So yeah, Christopher McQuarrie would be great, and that would lead to more. I feel like maybe Craig's Bond did have a lot of stunts, but I feel like we need bigger and better stunts back in Bond.
Yeah.
Like I was watching the Roger Moore era, and dude, some of the stunts are so sick, and you're like, getting some of the real stuff too. Like the dude's just taking leaps of faith with their skis and just flying off, and you're like, dude,
going absolutely
that is
crazy.
wild, bro. And I want more of that. So I think Christopher McQuarrie would bring some sick,
Yeah, dude.
stunt action. Dude, what if Tom Cruise was the bad guy? Would you ever
I
be into
thought
that?
about that. I was thinking Tom Cruise is like Alex Grossman bad guy. That would be nuts. Where he's
Or
like,
Lex Grossman himself, dude.
Yeah.
Actually,
that would be unreal. But I was thinking too, like the Bond. I feel like Craig's Bonds had some really cool set pieces. Like you got the parkour chase,
yeah, that was.
and then
awesome.
you have a couple car chases. But I feel like they were kind of one and done. Where it's like, okay, if we do one parkour chase, we can never go back that route as much. You know, or oh, if we do it this way, we can never go back that route. So they always had something cool, but they didn't. I feel like they could have really like married everything together and made it all like a little better each one, where it seemed like they kind of just outdid themselves with that parkour chase and Casino Royale, and they're like, well, we're never going to be able to do anything that sick again.
Yeah, Casino Royale's awesome, dude. Because like, there's just so much to love about that movie. Other than it being absolutely way too long for me, it's nearly perfect Bond film.
Yeah, it's definitely a fantastic film. But we haven't figured out, is your director Guy Ritchie, dude? Is it
So yeah, I think the easiest choice is Guy Ritchie because like, why have we not gotten a Guy Ritchie Bond?
Yeah, dude.
But we all kind of know what that would feel like, look like, Man from U.N.C.L.E., right?
Right.
So to give an alternative for people, I would say David Fincher is who I would put as my second.
Dude.
That's what I mean. It would be a totally different film. So it's like, what do you want? Do you want the fun, more Roger Moore-ish Bond, or do you want like almost like a repeat of Craig, which I don't want. So that's why I'm leaning more towards Guy Ritchie because I want Bond to be fun again. I want it to be what I want it to be. In a perfect world, would be kind of like the 70s TV shows we talk about a lot. Like,
oh yeah, dude.
It's serious enough, but it's like it's having fun. Like it's an action, it's adventure. It's just fun.
Right.
I don't want it to be overly goofy. I don't want it to be overly serious. I just want it to be kind of like
a good story.
Yeah, like a little bit fantasy. Like it's not realistic spycraft. Nobody's going to be watching this like, dude, this is like man who came in from the cold. Like this is legit.
Right.
It's not legit at all. It's just fun. But I think Guy Ritchie would be perfect for that because he has that kinetic energy. It's more like this is a film. This is true life.
This is a fun storytelling. Fincher did The Killer, right, with Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, that's him. Which
is funny because Fassbender was a Bond hopeful for a long time. So
yeah, he would be a good bad guy too, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's so funny. You love him taking the Bond hopefuls and turning them into the bad guys. That is a really good idea. Yeah, Fincher would be cool, but I think Guy Ritchie would be fantastic. I think what would be interesting is like seeing, because Guy Ritchie did Wrath of Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he married like Wrath of Man and Man from U.N.C.L.E.,
right?
The Wrath of the Man from U.N.C.L.E., dude. And I think he could do some really cool stuff because that if he did like his classic like Snatch or whatever it is where it's like the crazy cuts and everything's jumping around. Yeah. I don't know how well that would. I think it would be cool and interesting to see, but I think it would like everybody would hate it.
Yeah,
The
you'd be like, this
Bond
is too much of
faithful.
a Guy
Yeah.
Ritchie movie, not a freaking Bond film. You have
Yeah,
to surrender some of yourself to go into the Bond franchise, I feel like, as a
exactly.
director. You can't just be like, this is fine now.
Which
That's not how it works.
he's really good at surrendering himself
Right?
to.
Aladdin, bro?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Aladdin's a primo example. He also did that, whatever it was, the Fountain of Youth, and that didn't feel like a Guy Ritchie movie,
Mm.
and suffered for it. But I think that's where you can kind of like you could see stuff. The only thing that felt super like Guy Ritchie to me about the Man from U.N.C.L.E. is when they have that split screen invasion of the place where it's you were expecting more of like a big shootout, and then it did like a cool montage of them going through from both of the perspectives, and then it finally comes together in the last shot. I thought that was
Hmm.
pretty cool, but I always wish that there'd been the actual big shootout. But I digress there. So, dude, this is pretty cool. These are turning out to be really neat stories so far. But what's next? Who we got next? The henchman, dude. The
Yeah,
henchman.
dude, some henchmen, dude. Who you got?
You want to go first, or you want me to? I can take it away.
You can take it away, buddy.
All right. I
trust you.
got Reacher, dude. I got
Oh,
Alan
yeah, that's a
Rickman.
great one.
Yeah,
He's massive.
he is massive. He's also, I feel like he does a good job of playing like the super unhinged guy. So in my plot that I have kind of in mind, I could see him and Bond kind of like starting out as challengers. Like Reacher would be like, what are we doing? Like, you think you can keep up with me, huh? And then he'd have to get in there, and then slowly the animosity would build. I think it would be just fantastic.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Especially, dude, if it was Reacher versus like, I don't know, 180-pound, 190-pound Henry Cavill from Immortals, dude, that would be a fun fight to see.
Right.
So who knows?
Back to your Tom Holland thing, if you had to put him in there, dude, that'd be
Dude.
the ultimate.
That would
tough
be
one for
David and
Tommy.
Goliath right there.
Yeah.
They would definitely have to shoot Tom Holland more in the Tom Cruise style for him to have a chance against Reacher.
Do you think
Otherwise, he'd be
so?
cool.
Would you want Reacher to have like a signature weapon of any kind, like, or would you want him to just be fisticuff boy, or how do
That's
you
a good
picture this
question,
guy?
dude. Man, I don't know. Now that you ask it, I think like a big old Bowie knife would be pretty sick. Kind of like
Yeah,
what
cool.
Brad Pitt has in Inglourious Bastards, dude.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
And he's got it like, I guess like strapped, maybe, dude, in a shoulder holster. That would be pretty sick.
This guy's thinking, dude.
Yeah. So there you go. Alan Richson with a big old Bowie knife, dude, going after.
Oh, wow, what a henchman, dude! Going after
young
immortals.
Henry Cavill. Unreal, dude. So who's your henchman, dude?
My henchman is one that is like a piece of clay that you guys can all mold to whatever you want, because he's one of these actors who's maybe not so much lately, but he used to just do all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah.
It's Tom Hardy. I think Tom Hardy can be and
He'd be
look
a
in a
great
certain
henchman.
way you want him to be. So picture him however you want. You want him to be bald with a huge mustache like in Bronson. You want him to be jacked out of his mind like in Warrior. You want him to be kind of spy-esque like he was in This Means War. Like,
Yeah,
you
dude.
tell me how you want him to look. That's fine. But I think Tom Hardy would be a perfect
That's a
backup
good
to
one.
Idris Elba, of like, someone who's in on this
Yeah,
plot as
dude.
well. And he's the one who's still, active duty kind of thing. Like, he's still,
Right.
Idris Elba is one of the guys just pushing paperwork now. And now Idris Elba sends Tom Hardy to go smash Callum Turner. And he's kind of, I picture him with like the all black tactical outfit with the beanie and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And
dude.
repelling and stuff to go murder Callum Turner as he's like sleeping in the bunks or something, and they have to have like a sick fight. I think
That
Tom
is-
Hardy would be the man.
That is a really good one, dude. What I can only imagine as this goes further and further into the story, I'm beginning to like meld the two in my mind, and it's no longer about James Bond, but it's about 006 and 008, and it's Henry Cavill and Callum Turner, and they're both on this mission together, and then they have to go up against, dude, Jake Gyllenhaal, Idris Elba, Alan Richardson, and Tom Hardy, dude.
The
ultimate
worst.
bad guy syndicate, dude.
The worst situation for these guys.
And
And
it's-
whoever comes out is 007 in the end of it.
There you go. I was thinking it was more of like a nice guys situation where it just is no longer a Bond movie and it's a buddy
Yeah.
cop MI6 film,
That's fun.
which would be pretty cool. But sorry, I'll drop that one and digress there. Yeah, Tom Hardy, dude, fantastic. He's got the bad guy chops. He played Bane in
Yeah, bro.
Batman and was
Guy's Bane.
fantastic. Um, oh yeah, that's so sick. I can just picture it vividly. You're painting a very vivid picture in my mind, dude. So good work. Um, all right, what are we on to next, dude? The singer, who you got?
Yeah, dude. I got Gregory Azukoff, dude. I don't know
Oh,
if you know him.
yeah, I do.
Like an indie kind. We never gotten one of those. I don't think. Like a
Yeah,
nice
that's a good idea.
indie folk-ish kind of song. I know it's very Americana, so there's got to be a British equivalent of that.
Right.
So maybe if there is a better British version of Gregory Azukoff, do that to keep it in line with like being English. But I think that would be so sick, especially for the the plot line for mine being in like the Navy and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like I don't know. I just think it would feel like very fitting to like a Jack London world, and I want him to be on
Right.
the water and stuff like that for a lot of it. So I'm going with that
Dude,
kind of situation.
that's a really cool idea. I
What
like that.
about you, my friend? Thanks.
I got Laufey. She basically just sings like 1940 style music today.
Okay, I don't know her.
Pretty good. She's got a bunch of different stuff, but she has a really beautiful voice, and I can just imagine her singing kind of like because with my Bond, if I was doing it, I would want it to be very like timeless. It could be set in modern day, but you would definitely be like, when is this set in? You know,
Mm.
you'd wonder a little bit. Then you'd see like a car or a phone, and you'd be like, okay, this is a modern day thing. But she would be able to bring that timeless like 1940s style to it, and it would keep kind of the legacy of the more classic female Bond singers. So
Yeah,
that was my
that's
idea.
beautiful, dude. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can see that. I don't know her, but if it how you're describing it does sound like it fit
she's
right in. You'd be watching like the '70s ones and turn yours on, and it would fit
yeah,
right in. And
exactly, dude. Or I think it's Shirley Bassey does Goldfinger. So
yeah, there you
something
go.
kind of like in line with that, dude. It would be fantastic. And
That's
I
beautiful.
think that's the important thing that I hope they get right with this one is really getting the vibe and the style right. Like what
Yeah,
you were just talking about with a Jack London world for yours. As long as they have something in mind, instead of if they're just trying to copycat something else, but if they're able to really dig in and you feel the whole like aesthetic and the feeling of the world being built and it's somewhere that you want to stay in instead of like either too real or too farcical, like we talked about before, where Bond has been both of those things where you're like, this is super intense,
yeah,
not catching the vibe. And then the other ones where you're like, this is just, you said it last week, I think, this is Austin Powers, but it's
yeah.
really James Bond. Like, what are we doing? So hopefully they're able to shoot right down the line and get it locked and loaded.
And the music does definitely put you in. It's like a
Yeah, dude.
barometer for where we're going with this kind of thing.
Yeah,
To see.
well said.
So it's, dude, like you said, for the fashion, it'll be very cool and interesting to see
Oh,
where they go
yeah.
with that this time around for like, the real Bond.
Uh-huh.
I'm really it. I'm hopeful. I'm hoping that it's like a style that we like because there's definitely ways to go modern fashion that it's like we don't care about it or we don't
Right,
like it or
right.
it's like not our vibe. But I would love for it to be kind of like The Gentleman or that new movie coming out, How to Make a Killing. Like some of these
Yeah.
movies like look like I'm gonna watch this purely to get some outfit ideas too because this is
Yeah, dude, that's a
fantastic.
good point.
So I hope they do that. I hope they have like a sick set
Yeah.
or costume designer.
That's a really good point. I think, like you said, there's some stuff that I can just imagine being terrible with modern style and modern fashion, but the kind of trend to return back to like 1940s style would be super sick. And I think that that would add really well to the aesthetic of like the timelessness as if they're able to pull off some like a little more, I guess drapey is the right term. That's the term they use for the 40s sort of stuff all the
Hmm.
time, where it's like,
Rather than baggier.
yeah, baggy. You want to go drape, not bag.
Yeah.
And you want to go like, I guess fuller cut is what they're really preaching now. That's not overcut because that's the one thing you have like you either have 1940s silhouette and looking sick and like an old timey guy, or you have like the 90s weird period of time where it really was like, dude, are you wearing a sheet right now? Like, what's going on? Is that like a slightly tailored sheet? I don't know.
I know. I think of that with some of Jacob Elordi's suits. I'm
Yeah,
like, bro,
dude.
what is this so huge for? You're already a massive human being. You're like 6'5". What do you stop
No,
that?
the parachute pants
Yeah, man.
are always like. Sometimes I'll see guys styling them. I'm like, bro, this looks just like I can barely even tell that they're pants. It looks almost like a full on dress, like because they're so baggy, and if you move the
Yeah.
right way, it's like, what's going on here?
Oof.
So yeah, I agree. You
Let's
got to
avoid that.
keep it a little reserved, but also still, he's Bond is one of the most popular trendsetters of our time. You know, like
Dude,
he
good point.
makes stuff fashionable. Period.
And that's where this one could be, like, for my plot, casual outfit. Do we need more casual Bond?
Yeah,
I
dude.
love a suited Bond. Don't get me wrong, of course.
Right.
But, dude, a nice casual Bond, the casual outfits are what I'm coming for. The casual
Yeah.
outfits are what I'm going to take away and implement in my life. Because anybody can style a suit to the nines, and it looks pretty much the same. But
Right.
seeing people's walk around, like, casual outfits that are sick,
Yeah.
awesome. You know what I mean? Like, when Roger Moore's throwing on the safari jackets and stuff, I'm like, yeah, that's
dude.
what I need. That's what I need.
Yeah. The one jacket he wears, I think it's in Spectre in Morocco, and it's like the khaki pants, a blue knit polo, and then a suede jacket. That was one of my. I love that fit. Yeah, that's a good point. The Bond with the varying degrees of outfits is super important, which my plot will also kind of align with. Which I've been going back and forth, dude, on whether or not I should share this plot, because the longer I think about it, the more I'm like, should I just make this a Nate Colt story? Because it would be a really good Nate Colt story.
You should just make it a Nate Cold story. Because also, like I said, I must have like skipped it because I went straight from singer to locations. I never really. That's why I never fleshed out a plot. So I don't know. That's why we'll just keep it vague with locations, dude. And you just make the plot in your own head because you know he's in the Navy.
I gotta share this plot. I think you're gonna love this, dude. It's super sick.
You don't want to make it a Nate Colt and just share it after?
I will, because this won't. The spoilers will be loose, I think.
Okay.
It's just more like a vague thing, and it sets the whole stage for Jake Gyllenhaal and Reacher, and even the Bond girl, dude. So Bond is at this point early enough in his career. This may be like right after the events that make him a 00, or maybe right before. It doesn't really matter too much. But he's unknown enough that he is able to be on an infiltration mission, dude. And so there's Jake Gyllenhaal has this crew of heist guys that are going around stealing paintings because there's something in the painting that can be weaponized, and he's planning to sell it. So he's taking like Rembrandt's, like crazy expensive stuff from people's private collections, art houses, wherever it is, and they're going in and they're stealing them, dude. And so they have to pull Bond in to help do it, and that's where you get Reacher as the big kind of like brute guy. And so in the early missions, Reacher's like, I don't need you, I could do this myself. And they're like back and forth, and there's like animosity between it. And Reacher would be like, this guy's probably a narc, let's kill him. And Jake Gyllenhaal's like, calm down, calm down. And Henry Cavill's just being sick, dude. And so I can imagine it like some really cool, like almost like the sneaking through lasers and the black turtlenecks kind of stuff with the like the coming down from the ceiling sort of heists. But then there's all sorts of other stuff playing in with them globe-trotting, and I think probably a third to halfway through, Bond's going to get found out, and then it becomes almost like, this is what I'm saying, this just became an Uncharted, a better Tom Holland Uncharted, because I was like, well, after that, then they're both racing for the final painting, which is somewhere deep in the mountains of something or something like that.
Very sick.
So I was just thinking, dude, it'd be so sick. And
That's
eventually he'd have to beat Reacher, because that's just how it would go. And then, dude, that's why I was thinking you can't have just Liam Neeson, because he'd be a little too old and he'd be more of the mastermind kind of guy. So you'd have to have him go up head to head with like opposite number. Also, Jake Gyllenhaal with a younger Henry Cavill could have been like, there could have been some mentorship going on, you know? And so he's kind of facing this guy. But then I was getting worried it was a little too much like Point Break. Which overall the plot is pretty similar to. So that's why I probably won't even make it into a Nate Cole thing. But I was getting hyped.
Very sick, dude. Yeah. That is awesome. And you've been telling me about the painting stealing. It's definitely going to come out some fast because that's sick.
Art thievery is sick. And that's.
Are you going to see the mastermind with Joseph? No, I don't remember his name. His name's not Joseph Quinn. I don't remember the guy's name. But there's that new movie called The Mastermind about a art thief.
I don't know. I haven't really heard of that. It sounds super cool though.
I get trailers for it on Instagram all the time.
Does it look good or no?
It looks cool, but it looks like my friends Jim and Dom are gonna love it. I said that to them. I was like, "You guys are gonna love this." They deliberately made it against my type, where it's this is a hyper realistic version of an art thief, and it's like mundane and kind of like slice of life. And I'm like, why is he not wearing a turtleneck and breaking in at night? Like, what are we doing?
He breaking in, dude? What are we doing?
That's the one issue. Is it looks very cool, but I guess it's supposed to be very realistic, and it's like, I don't like realistic right now. I don't want that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm much more for the heightened reality.
Yeah, dude, just
art thievery, dude.
Yeah,
too sick. So, do you want to go into your plot anymore? Spitball it a little bit.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll say this, that I think I want it to be, like I said, Navy. It'll be when he's in the Navy, and this will kind of be what would get him the intelligence job, because I think he's not going to be fed that he's doing something wrong from Idris Elba, but he's like figuring it out that like what they're doing is not right, and so I think there'd be like a little Batman mystery element to it, where he'd have to like uncover what's going on, and then realize that Idris Elba is like aligning them with like a foreign, enemy or something like this. Something's happening, that they're setting themselves up for failure, or like they're doing something that is wrong, and Bond's figuring that out, and as he's figuring it out, that's where he sends Tom Hardy to get him. But then like once he kills off Tom Hardy, he's like, dude, this is my own guy who came to kill me. Like he'd have to pull the face mask off and realize it's Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
son of a gun, dude. And then it's like I'm
fired up, dude. This is sick.
So then he'd have to rally the men and become a leader amongst them, to be like, we have to rise up against our own dudes, and like the people who won't rise up against them, you'll have like little mutinies going on. Like it'd be sick to have them like figure that out and have this internal war as they're getting closer to that like foreign ally thing happening, and then they'd have to stop that at the same time. I think it'd be sick. So,
yeah, that's fantastic.
There's a lot of vagary going on here, but like that is essentially where I see it.
Dude, and what kind of locations would you have then?
So yeah, the locations, I was thinking like coastal towns, military bases, ships, like Jack London type ships, and then submarines a little bit. So I think all of those would make for like a sick Bond. Like the coastal towns for, some awesome coffee, like a little espresso, sitting around talking vibes, or like hardcore sea dweller bars, like dive bars and stuff. Right. And then obviously the ships and the naval bases are going to be what those are, and the submarines are what they are. We all know those, and that's where you can get the tactical turtlenecks going on and stuff like that. So I think, and seeing Bond in like his full naval outfit with the naval hat and cap and stuff, doing stuff, I think we see it a few times in the series, but not enough.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good idea. It reminds me too a little bit of like the later episodes of Magnum PI, which you said 80s, 70s, 80s type of TV, where he does wear his like naval intelligence uniform, and he's doing like secret agent stuff as a Navy guy. So dude, that's a really cool pitch. I like that a lot.
Thanks, man. I like your plot too. These need to be the Bonds. That's what I'm saying. We'll be pissed when we see the plot of the new one and be like, that's not what I want.
Huge bummer. For my locations, I had Japan, Italy, and Patagonia. I was thinking,
dude, nice. These are some sick locations.
I think they might have done a little bit of Patagonia in Quantum of Solace, but I'm thinking like maybe that's where like the final art paper thing is that they have to go, and it's on like maybe a private collector's massive mountainside estate, and they have to go there, and it's just too sick. Or
yours
maybe
also could be a sick sequel to National Treasure, a better National Treasure, dude.
Yeah, dude.
That's follow the third one in that franchise.
Yeah, like dude, imagine a black tie event in the mountains of the Andes, dude, with those beautiful, crazy looking cliffs behind you, dude. So
that is a Nate Colt, dude. That's why you got to read Nate Colt, because it is that. That's what I've always said. It's
Thanks,
like,
dude.
This is like Nate Colt is like Bond, but what I want, but also somehow scratches that high adventure itch of like, but why isn't he more like Indiana Jones, or why isn't he,
right,
like Tom Selleck and Magnum PI? Like, why am I not in more fistfights and exotic locations and stuff? Well, so it's perfect for that.
If you think that this is cool, intrigue is my assignment. is the working title for the next one, which I think I've said before, so it's not a big deal. But that one's definitely going to be the most spy-related one yet. So it'll be. I'm excited for it. We'll see when it comes out, though. Who knows? there's so much on the docket, dude. But I was thinking Japan would also be cool, dude, because I love places that are like kind of not touched on before, and there's so much that you don't know about so many different locations. But it would be cool having them just jet set, literally for the sole purpose of stealing art, dude. Too sick.
Yeah.
Too sick. So we'll see. We'll see what we
Does that leave us to Bond
the
girls?
Bond girl, dude. Yeah, this one was tough. I couldn't think of anybody off the top of my head, and I literally was looking through like top 100 best actors of all time, and I got to the end of one list like, nah, none of those. So if you have someone in mind, you should jump in with who they.
Yeah, dude, I have a top 3 going on here,
and honestly, all 3 could be in there if we know anything about James Bond.
Right. My number 1 and the best pick that I have overall is Samara Weaving. I think she'd be freaking perfect. The movie
I don't
Ready.
even know if I know her.
She's in the movie Ready or Not.
Okay.
And that's the movie that kind of like, I think is the perfect audition tape to show that she could be the awesome Bond girl. Because it's like she's getting married in that movie. And they have like a weird cult family situation and they play like hide and seek essentially. And if they find you, they kill you. And so it's like this horror thriller movie. And so by the end, you know, she's got like the wedding dress like torn halfway up her body and stuff, and she's all bloody and she's had a shotgun and stuff. So she like can play the Bond girl who needs to get into like scraps and get in gunfights, but she's so hot and so like feminine as well. Right. So it's like she's I think she'd be a great pick. And then second to that is similar. And dude, is she a Bond girl? And was she a Bond girl? Maybe. Anya Taylor-Joy, has she been one yet?
I don't think so.
All right, she's my number 2 pick because similar thing, like she definitely plays the tougher characters, and she was in that Viking movie, Northman, I think, as well. So, so she's perfect. And then the one that everyone keeps talking about on the internet is Sydney Sweeney, and so I would just have to add that because like she's almost too good not to be a Bond girl.
Yeah, she felt like a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's like a no-brainer. It's too fitting.
I can't say that because it is too fitting. Yeah, she would for sure. I mean, I feel like that's what she's made to do.
Yeah, built
like,
for that.
What all of her career is built up to is being a Bond girl. Those are good options, dude. For me, I was looking through, and it seemed like a cop out because she played such a sick character in a spy movie already, and also in Marvel movies. But it's Haley Atwell's character, the actress. She played.
Yeah, she's from
Grace in Mission Impossible, and she played Captain Carter, or Peggy Carter, which is cool because Peggy Carter was like your classic. I don't know how you would even describe her. She was like a little more reserved, a little more straight-laced, and then she was in the Agent Carter series, so she has the spy chops. Then, dude, she plays the thief, ultimate like pickpocket lady in the Mission Impossible movies. So, dude, that's what I'm saying, dude. In the plot,
it's a great choice for you.
She's part of the crew, and maybe she's the one who tells Bond that they're onto him and helps him get out of it. And so then there's like a weird romance thing, but also that's part of the reason why Jake Gyllenhaal dislikes Bond is because he's got a thing for her, dude, and they're going after each other.
Beautiful.
So, there you go.
That's a great choice.
She's also beautiful.
It's hot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. She's perfect for the role.
Which is a qualifier, I think, for Bond girls.
It's gotta be, dude.
It's gotta be a big factor.
I did not come up with anyone else because I feel like there usually are at least 2 or 3 Bond girls, but
yeah, fair enough in some capacity.
This one seemed a little more like there wouldn't be any time, you know, or maybe.
Yeah, and you don't want to force it in there. It's like
exactly.
Bond has to sleep with you. Like no, just whatever the plot determines.
Maybe there would be room for someone else jumping in at the like after the mission goes.
Sydney Sweeney, just throw her in there, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Or Margot Robbie, I was thinking.
Yeah, Margot Robbie's
people would throw around. She could even be like the more like advanced agent. So after the mission flips over, they're like, all right, we're sending a second agent to help you out.
Dude, if we're going younger routes, can she be M? Is that possible? Is that allowed?
That would be crazy. Margot Robbie is M.
And then he's trying to flirt with her all the time and getting like the most in trouble. You can't flirt with me, Bond. And he's like,
dude, Bond trying to get after M would be absolutely nuts.
I think that'd be amazing, dude.
That would be pretty. That would be pretty funny.
Now I want that to happen a bit.
Yeah, we got it. So
Got a petition.
let's write a petition, dude. Someone get to write to round all this out. What do you realistically expect or hope for?
I actually think Callum Turner has a shot. That's why I'm sticking with him. I do think he has a shot. If not, it is going to be someone random that I'm like, oh, I think I've heard of that person.
Right.
Are they? What are they in? It's going to be some rando, I'm sure. I expect it to be probably in line with. Yeah, it would be cool. I would be fine with it. That's how we get some of the cooler stuff. And I expect it to be more in line with the video game. I just can't feel like that's so random. You know what I mean? I feel like the video game is like getting the audience ready and being like, here's the direction we're going. Like, especially if they're saying they want a younger Bond. Like,
it looks really good.
It does look really good. I think it's going to go something like that. I think he's going to be a very new agent, if not like his first assignment kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they did that in Casino Royale, so they'll probably do like exactly what Superman's done lately or what Batman's done lately, where it's like this is year 2, this is year 3. One of those situations, I guarantee it's going to be that. And then I think you're going to get, I think you are going to, they're listening to, I'm sure they're listening to the audience and the online discourse, and it seems like everybody wants him to return to being a spy more than anything, and they want him to like, have a little more fun with the series. So I bet you're going to see a return to like the Pierce Brosnan era type of vibes and a little bit of the Roger Moore era vibes. I bet you that's where we go, realistically. Nice. What about you? What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I do think that there is, you bring up a really good point of like the soft launch. It literally could be waiting on the reaction to 007 First Light. And then if everyone's like, this is great, he did such a good job playing him, then they're like, he's also the new Bond. Because they've had the Bond actor play Bond before with Craig. He did a Quantum of Solace game and he voiced it, and he did 007 Bloodstone, which is a fantastic game, and he voiced it, and they used his character, like his face and stuff, as the character.
Yeah.
So it really could be, you might be onto something with the ultimate
soft launch
Inception kind of thing, where they're like, yeah, this is him. And I remember watching one of the trailers or the gameplay, and someone was like the classic, babe, quick, come look. They were like, I'm about to play Uncharted 007 The Old Country, because Uncharted and The Old Country and 007 First Light all look similar, which to that point, dude, I would absolutely love if they kept, because the 007 First Light, because it's a video game, I feel like it's got the spy elements, but because how video games are paced and how they have to be paced, they automatically,
million dudes.
They become the ultimate high adventure stories. And it does look just like an Uncharted game. So if they were able to somehow, that's what I'm saying, dude, they just need to remake Uncharted with Tom Holland again and just make it a good, with Bond, dude. Because I think that's kind of the thing that Uncharted fell short in, is it's a super prestigious game, but it is a video game movie thing, which are almost immediately relegated to B movies, no matter what, And I was thinking about this last night and getting super pissed about it. As soon as you add an animal sidekick, you're immediately a B movie, right? And they give Sully one of the coolest characters of all time. Toughest dudes ever. They give him the cat, and he's got the cat in the little backpack thing at the end of the movie where he's taking him around on the treasure hunt. No way, dude. That's like such a stupid gag that immediately takes you from like being a serious contender for being taken seriously to being like, this is a kids movie, huh? Like we're throwing stuff to the chillins with this. It's like, bro, what are you doing? So to digress, I think all the problems we have with Tom Holland as an actor would be rectified in a Bond movie, because it's so prestigious, and they'd have to make it like a really good movie where they can't
Especially
do
Denis Villeneuve or whatever. That guy's not going to mess around.
Exactly. And you can't take the baseline of like, I feel like the Uncharted movie was good up to a point, and then it just became like a spoof of itself within itself. And they can't do that with a Bond movie, because it would ruin the franchise and everybody would get fired and everyone would hate Amazon. So this movie is like crucial to them being able to make a series out of it. So I think I I think probably what'll end up happening is we'll get something that's a little more middle of the road, where they have like 2 or 3 testing points that could go into extremes and could dictate the route of the whole thing, and they'll see how people react to those different things. And if people really love, like if they do like a John Wick style fight scene and people will really like lose their mind over that, then they'll be, okay, let's incorporate that more and more, or if they do more of the tradecraft stuff like you were talking about with like the spy who came in from the cold or whatever sort of thing, and people really like that, then they'll take that and run with it, so I'm hoping that they do. I'm expecting it to be a little more mid, maybe like a 7, 8 out of 10. It's not going to be a 10 out of 10 right off the rip, because there's just too
I will
much
say that I'm expecting it not to be high action. I don't think that's going to. I feel like it'll be kind of an antithesis, or like the anti Mission Impossible. I think they're going to set themselves up as like, we're the thinking man's movie. Like, right. I bet you they're going to go.
I hope not.
With kind of that
route. A little bit of a bummer.
I know. But, well, it could still be fun. We'll see. I hope. I have hopes.
We'll see. It is for sure a good director. We know that he's capable of great things. If not more slow burn stuff. But we also talked about Prisoners is pretty.
I mean, the guy is very versatile as shit. Like, the guy does everything. I don't know.
He really does.
I can't predict what he's going to do with this Bond, because the guy has some range on him. Because didn't he also do that weird movie Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal? Is that him?
I don't know.
If it is, the guy's weird, bro. And then he goes and does Dune, and it's like a big mainstream movie. It's like the guy has got some range on him, dude.
Dude, it is.
Okay, right. That movie's the strangest of all time.
Yeah, it says surreal psychological thriller / horror. So that is
pretty... So my boy is all over the map. I can't really pin him down.
That's a good point. And like we talked about before, neither of us have seen Dune, but we both saw the first Dune and we're like, this is a little slow. But apparently the second Dune is a lot more fast-paced. So he's capable of slow burn, fast burn, weird stuff, like you said. So hopefully, I mean, truly the best thing that I feel like could happen for me to be happy with the Bond movie is if they literally just copied and pasted the 007 First Light sort of action adventure sort of thing, because that would be so cool. And I think that's where you get into like the good place too of it would almost become, you may lose people because like, well, is this just a video game adaptation? And those are classically terrible. But it could be the first good one, because it's not actually a video game adaptation. But if they take the same energy, the same vibes from the game, and they inject that into a movie, but it's actually like one of the most prestigious action franchises ever made, you could do something really cool. But I think you're right.
Do you think they're going to go back to the books at all? Like, would they?
I don't know.
Adapt one of the ones that hasn't been made, or even one of the pastiche ones, like Raymond Benson's Time to Kill? Like, I would love to see that. Dude, climbing the Alps and stuff. Let's do that.
That does sound really cool.
That sounds awesome.
I don't know. I wonder how
the rights and stuff might be skewed.
That's not. I wasn't even necessarily thinking about that. The whole like. I never have understood how the timeline works for the Bond books, because Casino Royale is his first mission, but he seems like he's in his 40s there, and he seems like he's in his 40s the rest of the time. So it's like, it just seems very much, it almost seems similar to what they did with Craig, where you start with Casino Royale, and then the next thing you know, he's like,
the retiring old guy.
Like, that's how all the Bond books feel. It's like you read the first one, like, this is his first mission, huh? He seems like way too capable and way too kind of like resigned to doing it. And then you get into the second one and you're like, man, he could quit tomorrow, but it's been a long time since I've read them all through, so I could be way off base there. But yeah, I don't know what they would do. To your point of a year 1 or year 2 James Bond, I don't know which book would work for that.
If they want to set themselves up for absolute failure, why don't they just redo Moonraker, since the movie's so different? And just be like, call it Moonraker. And just piss everybody off, lose everybody instantly, and be like, we're going to do Moonraker again. Everyone's picturing the Star Wars type stuff. And they're like, what? No. We're going to do the book this time.
They would have to call it something different. I don't know what they would call it. But that would be a good idea.
Tracer.
The big rocket. A James Bond movie. I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited.
We'll see.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Me too.
Bond.
I'm just excited to get more Bond. And I don't know. I feel bad for them, dude. I feel like the pressure put on this is wild.
Yeah.
Wild. Astronomical stuff.
And what's crazy, too, is you've got Amazon has made Reacher, and they've been so faithfully adapted those, and it's one of the most critically acclaimed, like, book adaptation shows ever. And then you also have... Yeah, Terminalist, fantastic. Dark Wolf was really sick. But then you
Sherlock looks sick.
Yeah, then you've got Rings of Power, which is hated by pretty much everybody. And I'm worried that maybe that would be a good point for them to go off of a book, is they're really good at adaptations. They're not so good of figuring stuff out that doesn't actually exist. New thing. So who knows? I like to be optimistic. And I do think that Amazon's made some really good stuff. They have some of my favorite modern content ever. So
imagine the ultimate disrespect if it was just a streaming movie. If it's just like Amazon original, dude, and it just comes out on streaming, and you're like, what?
Right. Like Play Dirty level fight scenes.
Yeah, dude. You're just effects. You got Denis do for this? What?
Yeah. Which that's another point in the negative camp is Play Dirty was not as good as it should have been.
Yeah, disappointment. It was super cool though in concept. It just didn't hit right. We did a whole episode on it, but I mean,
check that out.
A little disappointing.
Yeah, maybe you don't need to check it out if this is our conversation about it. But I mean, if they could definitely do it wrong, like they did Play Dirty, where all of a sudden there's a very poorly CGI'd train about to hit James Bond, and you're like, oh, stop. But I think that's Denny is really good at making sure stuff like that doesn't happen. So we'll see. Oh.
Timothy Chalamet, dude, is he going to pull that guy from Dune and make him Bond?
Yeah, dude.
He's not even British.
Skinathy can't lift the pencil. He's definitely going to need a gun because he's not beating anybody in a fist fight.
That's hilarious. Especially Reacher, dude, versus Timmy.
Oh, yeah, he's cooked. I mean, he fights a bunch of people in Dune, and it's not
Batista, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
Definitely Austin Butler, who's much bigger and stronger. Yeah. To round this out, dude, we're, 2-3 weeks away from Odyssey of Fire coming out?
Dude? Yeah, man.
So let me just...
Young Noah.
Yeah, let's pivot here real quick and say, if you enjoyed Luke's ideas for the plot, like he was saying about Nate Colt's super sick, Noah Redford is super sick, dude. And he takes all of the like question marks you have about action characters, adventure characters. Like, if you like 1923, you're doing yourself a disservice not reading Fire in the Tall Grass and then not picking up Odyssey of Fire. Because Fire in the Tall Grass is like season 1 Spencer, but much better, and season 2 Spencer, but much better in Odyssey of Fire, because you have the traveling adventurer trying to figure stuff out and dealing with like a big romance debacle, dude. It's so sick.
Thanks, man. I'm excited for it. I think it's probably my favorite thing I've written. Like the more I reread it and stuff, I think it's my favorite thing, just because I really like, Fire in the Tall Grass was like the archetypal hero in his peak kind of vibes.
Right.
And this one is like, I loved looking at what does that guy look like before he was fully formed? Like, what does it look like when he's making his way through the questions of what is it to be a man or a good person in general? Like, he's a younger guy who just lost the foundation of his life, basically, and he's got to figure out, what do I stand on? What do I believe in? What do I want to do with my time? So I like the questions it explores, and I like looking at Noah from a different angle than just like the fully formed hero that he was in that one. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what people think.
I'm excited too. It's cool and tricky, like we talked about before, because I sort of did a similar thing with Crime is My Caper, where it was like, this guy's different for sure, and there's some decisions that you're like, nah, you wouldn't be that dumb to make that sort of decision, right? And that's, I mean, they're kids, right? They're young Stu Nods, essentially, who are just trying to figure it out for the first time
about their business.
So I'm excited. It is like, I feel like you've said before, you got to make sure people like you've always said, people need to know that this is a different Noah than you get in Fire in the Tall Grass. And I think as long as they know that, they're going to be blown away. I don't know, dude, Fire in the Tall Grass versus Odyssey of Fire, which one I like better? That is tough.
So different, bro.
They are very different. But I know for sure, yesterday I was making dinner, and all of a sudden I was like, this happens sometimes if a story's really good and I really enjoy it. I like get transported to the visual things that my mind created and imagined when I was reading the book. And so I was sitting there like just frying up some tuna steaks. I was like, dude, yeah, Odyssey of Fire is sick. I love that. I was thinking about the sort of like the last quarter of the book, and I was just hooked in. And I was like, man, should I read that again? Should that be crazy? That's my fatal flaw, dude. And it's the reason that
just rereading books to death.
Yeah, because you find something that you really love, like I talked about before. I've read the Chester Drum books and the Shel Scott books and the Matt Home books 100 times.
Yeah.
And I read Fire in the Tall Grass twice. I'm about to read Odyssey of Fire twice. It's like, and that doesn't even count the fact that I was reading through them as you were sending me snippets of it earlier, right. So I think it is like, that's what's so exciting though, is that, you're not going anywhere and you're going to continue publishing work. So I don't have to be like, oh, I got to just keep rereading the 20 books that he's already written. I get to just keep getting new books till the end of time. So thanks for writing good stuff. And
well, thank you. We talked about stuff too.
Dude, I wish they had you in charge of Bond. That would be so sick. We gotta make this go viral, everybody, so that we can have some impact.
That's hilarious.
They can actually not use either of these for the Bond story, but they can pivot to the 006 and 008 story with our boys, dude. So there you go. That is the final.
And now that Amazon has it, I'm sure we'll get more freaking shows and like you said, 006 and all kinds of stuff.
Or the Bond girl movie where it's just Sydney Sweeney being the female Bond.
Sweeney.
Yeah, it's definitely, that's what it's all led to.
We'll definitely get one of those.
Yeah,
we're getting the weirdest thing of all time with that like audition one.
Yeah, which we talked about. Like, dude, is this the ultimate backdoor? This is the guy who's playing Bond. I don't know if people know about that. You should fill them in on that.
I forget what it's called at this moment, but it's like a show that's coming out on Amazon. Right? Yeah, it's like a sitcom coming out on Amazon, where it's like this guy sees an article on the phone saying that like he's in talks to be Bond. It's like an actor, and like his family's reacting, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know." It's like the series is like, what is it like being caught up in the media frenzy of about to be Bond? You know what I mean? And like, I think it's not called The Audition, but it's something like that. It's literally like
the guy. I think his name's Bodhi in Rogue One. He's like the hacker pilot guy, I think. So. This is always a surefire sign that it's time for the episode to end.
I think that show looks very weird, but I'll probably watch it. It should be funny. But the worst thing would be if it is, like you're saying, a backdoor pilot, and they're actually like, this is Bond.
This is Bond,
by the way.
Which he could probably do a good job. He's a good actor.
He could pull off Bond, but do not start my relationship with a new Bond actor like that.
As a sitcom guy, yeah, dude. Yeah, we're never going to be able to take him seriously. That would be like
do that.
At the end of The Office, they were like, Jim is Bond. Actually.
Yeah, dude, Jim is Bond now.
You'd be like, what? That was crazy. Have they had a trailer or anything for it?
Yeah, trailer's out.
Does it look good? Have you seen it? It looks like a sitcom.
Like you would think. Yeah, it's exactly like you would imagine.
It's hilarious.
It looks like an over-the-top, like multi-camera laugh track sitcom. Like it just looks like a sitcom,
Bond
Weird.
The sitcom, things you never thought you'd get.
But yeah, it doesn't look bad.
We got Bond the sitcom before GTA 6, dude. The memes continue. That's crazy.
It is. It looks wild but fun. But the point is, there is going to be gazillions of freaking. Amazon's going to milk this bad boy for everything they can. They keep doing the reality shows too. Stop that.
Yeah, don't do what's going on with that? The reality show
about that, dude. I don't want that at all.
Yeah, hopefully they really milk it in a good way, and it's actually good stuff. Hopefully they don't pull Disney Star Wars where everyone's like, please stop. We've wanted you to stop for years.
Get the acolyte out of my face.
Get everything out. So hopefully they've got good stuff going. Maybe they will do a bigger World of Bond stuff. Who knows? I think Lashana Lynch played 007 in No Time to Die, and I thought she was really cool. Like, she did a good job. It's a bummer that they can't do something like a spin-off of her.
Back up. Right.
But who knows? So thank you guys for joining in. Drop your dream casting, your dream list, even the plots below. Join the Discord and talk about it. And check out, we got to plug them. Check out Analyze This, Mr. Bond. I think he did the video with the Bond experience.
So amazing Bond content over there. That guy's the thinking man's Bond fan, you know? Him and Terrence and the Bond experience. Those guys all have really good content.
Great stuff. If you like Bond, those are the resources you need. So thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.